Here is a summary of 10 tips on foods to avoid to prevent joint pain, helping you maintain health and limit issues related to arthritis. High purine seafood. Seafood such as shrimp, crab, clams, and herring have high purine content. When the body metabolizes purine, it produces uric acid, increasing the risk of gout and arthritis, especially when uric acid levels in the blood are high. Red meat, such as beef, lamb, and pork, contains high levels of saturated fat and purine, contributing to inflammation in the body. Inflammation can cause joints to swell and become painful, particularly when consumed in excess. Processed foods, including sausages, bacon, and deli meats, often contain high levels of salt, preservatives, and saturated fats. These components can lead to inflammation, exacerbating joint issues. Fried and deep-fried foods. Deep-fried dishes, such as French fries and fried chicken, contain high levels of trans fats, which can increase joint inflammation. Long-term inflammation can cause damage. Arthur Parker is a 68-year-old man who has retired after many years of teaching at a local high school. His life is usually quite peaceful. He enjoys spending time with family and engaging in favorite activities such as walking, gardening, and visiting friends. However, recently he has begun to notice some strange signs. The morning walks that he used to complete comfortably over several kilometers have now become a challenge. His legs feel heavy, his knees ache, and some stairs he has to climb now make him stop and catch his breath. For the first time, Arthur has started to worry about his health. During a visit to the doctor, he was diagnosed with mild arthritis in his knees. The doctor advised him to adjust his lifestyle, particularly regarding his diet and physical activity. These words startled Arthur. He always thought he was still quite healthy and could continue doing the things he loved, but now he realizes that his health is gradually declining. When he got home, after searching for information online and consulting with a doctor, Arthur began to understand more about the impact of certain foods on joint health. He discovered that dishes such as seafood, red meat, and processed foods could contribute to increased inflammation in the body. In particular, seafood and types of meat that contain purines, when consumed excessively, can raise uric acid levels in the body, leading to joint inflammation, especially gout. Arthur started to notice the connection between his diet and his joint pain. He also learned that foods high in saturated fats, such as red meat and fried foods, could increase inflammation, causing his joints to hurt even more. "I can't believe it," Arthur thought to himself. "The favorite dishes I've enjoyed for so many years are actually harming my health." He decided he needed to change and began his journey towards a healthier diet. Arthur knew that changing eating habits was not easy. He began to consult nutrition materials and seek advice from experts. One beautiful morning, he met his old friend Julia, a nutritionist he had known since his teaching days. Julia was well versed in the principles of nutrition and how diet affects long-term health. "Arthur, I'm so glad to see you taking an interest in your health," Julia said. "Let's start by changing the basic foods. Dishes high in saturated fats and purines can exacerbate arthritis. Replace them with healthier options." Julia guided Arthur on how to eat more fresh foods like vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. She also encouraged him to include lean protein sources such as chicken, fish, and legumes.et. Arthur decided to take on the challenge of changing his diet. He completely eliminated red meat, fried foods, and processed meals. Instead, he started eating lighter dishes with fish, vegetables, and whole grain foods. However, it was not easy for him to give up his favorite foods that he had enjoyed for many years. Arthur's first dinner after changing his diet was a plate of grilled salmon, accompanied by sautéed greens and quinoa. Although he was not used to the flavor, he felt quite comfortable and realized that this dish was actually very delicious and nutritious. Arthur began to notice small changes in his body after a few weeks of following the new diet. At first, he found it difficult to give up familiar foods like grilled beef or meals with crispy fried dishes. However, patience began to pay off. The pain in his knees was no longer as intense as before, and he could walk a little more each morning without feeling tired. One day, Arthur unexpectedly ran into an old friend in the park, Jim, a classmate from gym class. Jim was surprised to see that Arthur seemed healthier, and wondered if he was changing his diet. Arthur happily shared about his first steps. I have started eating less red meat, limiting processed foods, and replacing them with vegetables and dishes made from fish and whole grains. Jim smiled and said, That's wonderful, Arthur. I've read many studies and found that changing our diet can really help improve our health, especially as we age. Arthur noticed that, in addition to his diet, another important part of improving his health was exercising more. Although he had started to gradually reduce the pain in his knee, he still felt muscle tightness and fatigue after walking for a long time. Julia, an old friend, advised him to start with gentle exercises to help strengthen his body and enhance the muscles around the joints. Arthur, you should try stretching and strengthening exercises. This will help minimize the stress on the joints and make them more flexible. Julia explained. With Julia's guidance, Arthur began attending senior fitness classes at the community center near his home. The exercises mainly focused on improving flexibility and muscle strength. Arthur really enjoyed these sessions because they not only helped him become healthier but also provided an opportunity for him to meet and make friends with peers. Every morning, before going for a walk, Arthur spends about 20 minutes on. One evening, Arthur attended a family gathering. The familiar dishes of red meat, sausages, and fried foods were spread across the table, making it impossible for him to resist temptation. Despite his determination to change, when he saw his favorite foods, Arthur couldn't say no. He indulged freely, and the pleasure he felt in that moment made him temporarily forget everything he had learned about healthy nutrition. The next morning, Arthur woke up and immediately sensed the difference. His legs felt heavier, and his knees ached. A feeling of unease enveloped him, and regrets began to surface. What have I done? Arthur wondered. But instead of allowing himself to drown in guilt, he decided not to give up. This is just a stumble. I won't let it set me back, Arthur reassured himself. He continued with his diet and exercise routine, and soon felt better within a few days. Arthur understood that this journey was not always easy, but he was determined to maintain a healthy lifestyle. He began to learn more about self-care methods, such as yoga and meditation, to help reduce stress and improve his mental state. These changes not only helped his body become healthier but also made his soul feel more at peace. With perseverance and determination, Arthur gradually regained his strength and flexibility. His knees no longer ached as they once did, and he felt more confident walking, climbing stairs, and participating in outdoor activities. He also started inviting friends and family to join him for gentle exercise sessions, sharing what he had learned about health and a healthy diet. Arthur began to feel a noticeable change in his body, but what made him happiest was that the relationships around him were gradually becoming closer and more meaningful. After experiencing improvements in his health, he felt he had enough energy and vitality to participate in community activities, while also becoming closer to his family and friends. One morning, Arthur hosted a gathering at his home, inviting old friends he hadn't seen in a long time for breakfast. He prepared a healthy meal with whole grain bread, scrambled eggs, and fruit salad. Everyone was surprised by his transformation. They praised Arthur for his health, and especially for his newfound energy. Arthur, I hardly recognize you. You look so much more vibrant and healthy than before, his old friend John said. Arthur smiled and shared. Actually, I've changed my eating habits and started exercising regularly. I feel like I've rejuvenated, and I want to share what I've learned. Arthur stood in front of the mirror one morning, looking into his own eyes and feeling a noticeable change. He not only felt healthier but also more confident and energetic than ever before. The joint pain was no longer a daily issue. He could walk easily and climb stairs without feeling tired. His life had undergone positive changes that he never expected. Arthur reflected on his journey, from someone suffering from joint pain and feeling weary with age to a person full of energy and proactive about his health. He knew that this was just the beginning. I will continue to maintain this lifestyle and keep learning new things to keep life fresh, Arthur thought. But what mattered most was that throughout this journey, he realized that nothing was more important than health and the relationships around him. Healthy meals not only helped him maintain his joint health but also created opportunities for him to reconnect with his family. After his long journey, Arthur realized that changing his lifestyle is not easy, but it is absolutely worth it. Not only has it improved his joint health, but he also finds himself more active, healthier, and more importantly, able to share his journey with those around him. Balanced diet. /N. Start by changing familiar dishes, but don't rush to give them up completely. Consider replacing red meat and processed foods with fresh, low-fat options like fish, vegetables, and whole grains. Healthy foods will help you maintain long-term health, especially for your bones and joints. /N. Don't be too rigid. /N. Don't think that one change is enough. A healthy diet and lifestyle habits must be maintained over the long term. And if you stumble at times, don't worry too much. The important thing is to always get back up and keep moving forward. /N. Regular exercise. /N. Exercise not only helps keep your body healthy but also improves your mental well-being. Gentle exercises like walking, yoga, or workouts for seniors will help you maintain flexibility and muscle strength, especially in your joints. /N. Stop consuming processed foods. /N. Avoid processed foods and dishes that contain too much salt, preservatives, and saturated fats. Instead, eat those. What part of Arthur's journey resonated with you the most? Why? Have you ever faced similar health challenges? How did you overcome them? What do you think is the biggest obstacle when trying to make healthier lifestyle choices? Arthur changed his diet and started exercising. What changes could you make in your daily life to improve your health? How can building stronger relationships with family and friends improve your well-being? Arthur learned to listen to his body. How often do you listen to the signals your body gives you? What small changes can you make today that would have a positive impact on your health in the long run? Do you believe it's ever too late to start improving your health? Why or why not? How do you deal with setbacks in your health journey, like Arthur did when he ate foods that weren't good for him? What role does optimism play in achieving your health goals? Thank you all for taking the time to listen to Arthur's inspiring journey. We hope that his story has touched your hearts and motivated you to make healthier choices in your own life. Remember, small changes can lead to big improvements in your health and well-being. If you found value in this story, we would love for you to share it with your friends and family. Together, we can inspire more people to take charge of their health, make positive changes, and live fuller, healthier lives. Thank you again for your support, and let's continue spreading positivity and health.